Yes, hello. This is Egesa Cax Isaac taking um, a bachelor's degree in business. So for this week's interview, I'm interviewing a lady called Akelo Charity Blessing. I'm interviewing her. Actually, she has been my friend for some good time, but I'm interviewing her because I know she's from a different race. She's a different ethnic group from mine. In Uganda, we have tribes and ethnic groups. So the ethnic group that she has is totally different from mine. For me, my ethnic group is a Bantu. I'm a Bantu group from Uganda. And I come from the eastern part of Uganda. For her, she's a Nilotic. That is her ethnic group. And she comes from the northern part of Uganda. So I am interviewing her to see the perspective about the race that they have there and what we have here, the tribal race that is in Uganda. So, Akelo Charity, thank you so much for giving me this time to ask you some questions. And would you please introduce yourself? Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Ethnicity from northern part of Uganda, and I've been his friend for some good time. Yeah.
So, Charity, if I'm to ask you, when you hear the word race, what comes to your mind when someone says race, or when someone speaks about race? What comes to your mind, or what do you understand about racism?
When I hear about that word racism, for my thinking, I think racism is something like segregation. Actually, to me, the way I think, it's the same word as segregation, which is done and so hurting, done to different cultures, countries, and it is a very bad act to me. It's so bad. So that is what I think racism means.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is all right. I agree with you actually. When you talk about segregation according to race. So you said race is segregation between people to you in your thinking and in your mind. What comes to my mind is segregation. Have you ever been segregated in a community, or do you think segregation is so much common in your tribe, like among tribes here in Uganda? What do you have to say about that?
I've never been segregated, but I've ever been in a place where one is segregated, and I was there, and I call it as a witness. I was there and saw it when one is being segregated. There's a place we went to, some place in Jinja, in Uganda. So I have a friend who came to Uganda. She's from a different country. She's from Canada. So she came to Uganda. She wanted to tour around Uganda. So I took her to some place. It's a waterfall place. So the entrance that we're supposed to pay is 5,000. But she was asked to pay more. There was no reason as to why she was supposed to pay more money.
So she paid more money than you, me, the person who stayed in the country?
Yes. Oh. So she paid more money. So that thing hurt me a lot.
Okay.
Because we all came having the same reason. So hers was the same as mine. We're just going to tour. I don't see it where she was supposed to pay much money.
So she was segregated in your thinking.
Was segregated. That is bad. It's not good. It's so hurting. I felt bad for that person. Yeah. So I think it's not a good act. It's not. And it's common in Uganda. It's common. We have racism in Uganda.
Is it? Sorry. Yeah, is it so common with other cultures, people from other cultures, or it's common with even you, like we're in Uganda? Do you also feel some pressure of race when you come to the Central? Because I know, and I've seen this, the people from the Central, they have a certain way they carry themselves, and they have a certain way they behave that I don't know if it's different from your side. So my question would be, have you ever walked around the Central and you feel like it's totally different? It's a different community than the community that you have in the northern part?
Honestly, I've not experienced that before. Right now, I've not experienced that. I am always seeing it. This act is always done to different countries. When a person comes
People from a different country.
that is what I see. That is what I've seen.
So it's not so much
yeah,
here.
it's not so much in our country or between cultures, because I think me and the people in the Central are the same, but maybe having some different ways of how they do their things. But I've never been segregated or taking that act, no. But I've seen it from different countries, like people coming from different countries and being segregated. It is really common in that area.
Okay.
Yeah.
So which means ever since you grew up, you don't have any memory when you feel you've been segregated from the community. That memory is not there?
No, I've not experienced that. I don't have that memory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So when you talk about your friend from Canada who is a white being segregated, even to me personally, I think that's not good, because how would Jesus do it? Would you also feel good? Would you feel good if you go in her country to visit her and you experience something like that, where they charge you a higher price than the price they charge someone from that country? How would that make you feel? Like, what would be your say when you leave that country?
I would feel very bad, because at first I even remember telling you, I put myself in her shoes, and it's so painful and so hurting. You going to some other country and expecting a warm welcome, expecting some good hospitality, like treating you equally, but to shock you coming back when you're being treated in another way. So it's so hard.
That gives me another question. Are you trying to say that when your friend came, she wasn't welcomed, like people didn't treat her good, or it was just only that side where the prices were charged high?
She was welcomed.
Did she feel at home?
She felt
liked
at
the
home.
place?
But the only thing that beat her mind is
that she had to pay more money than.
That thing is, I don't know how to call it, but when you go through that, there is a way you feel, honestly.
When you say that, it reminds me of the rumor. How can I say it? The rumor or the thinking that people have here. The black people have some thinking that the white people have more money, and the white people are rich. So the white people, it's like when you see them, it's like an opportunity to give more money. So in my thinking, that comes to my mind. I'm like, why would they charge a white person highly, and they charge a black person something low? So to my mind, I'm like, that is racism. That is racism, because they want to get more money from this person and they charge this one the lowest money. That is not good. What comes to my mind all the time is, what would Jesus do? I always ask myself that question, what would Jesus do? What it means to me, what would Jesus do? It means, if it was Jesus, would he do the same act like what we people do? Of course not. No. So we should live a life that glorifies God, the life that God lived, the life that is exemplary to us. So that's a life we should also be living. Thank you so much for that. I have another question for you. How would you respond? I just want to know something about your tribe, to see how different it is with me. Your ethnic group, to see how it's different with mine. My question is, how would you respond if someone is angry at you how would you respond if someone is angry at you? And another question, there are two questions in one. And how would you respond if you're angry at someone? When someone pisses you off, how would you respond? And when you piss someone off, what would be your response?
It's not hard when someone is angry at me. I think what I do is first leave the person to cool down. Because at that time, that person is really angry and he can do or she can do anything bad to you.
Anger drives.
Yeah, anger drives. And I know the person will regret after. But it's better I first leave the person to cool down, then give the person some time, go to the person, approach the person, and discuss out things, like to put things right. That is what I do. And I think the best word is sorry. I'm sorry. That is something. Actually, sorry solves everything.
It does.
Yeah. And if I am mad and know maybe someone has done something bad to me, I think it's also the same thing. I just walk away. I find a place, sit down. I sit down. I try to cool down myself.
And resolve, calm down.
Yeah, calm down and resolve.
Actually, that can be something tricky. You might say it here, but in the moment when you're angry, sometimes it's hard to do that.
I know.
Is it what you always do, that every time you piss at someone or when someone pisses you off, you just walk away? Is it always an incident?
It is hard. Like when you have anger, it is really, really hard for a person to just walk away. It's hard. So you just pray in mind and be like, I pray this person to first go away. You get? If the person understands that I've wronged this one, let me walk away and leave the person to first go down. That would be. But we have that tendency, I've wronged you, I want to be there, like I'm sorry. That also pushes the anger to raise. You get? So you walk away. I think that is the best way. I walk away. Though I've done something bad before. Like
where your anger drives you and you can't walk away, you want to give back fire to fire.
Which is not also right. Because you give back, then that person will also again give back. Instead of solving things down, things just go to the worst. You get? So I think I just walk away.
That's a good mindset you have, actually. Because if everyone had that in mind, I think some arguments won't be even faced. This brings me to another question. I'm sorry, I have a lot of questions. When you ask me, when you share with me something, it creates more questions in my mind. Have you ever found yourself in a place where you find that your tribal group, the people from your tribe, act differently towards things when they come to the central? Like, have you ever found something like that?
Yeah.
Any differences in your tribe and this tribe? Like, what would you say is different from the different tribes here in Uganda?
I think the source of living, where they get that source of living. In our culture, those people do a lot of keeping cattle and animals. That is where they get their source of income.
Okay, so you people do a lot of animal farming?
And I think it's what is done that side.
So basically that is like the difference you see when you come here and when you go there. So it's like a different lifestyle.
Yeah, it's a different lifestyle. Yeah.
Okay.
When I come this side, I see it so different. So this side, people have different things. This is where they get their source of income. But that side, it's mainly animals and farming.
Well, I think I'll ask you another last question. Have you ever heard any word being spoken about your tribe? Any word, negative, positive? What have you heard people say about your tribe that made you pissed or that made you feel good about your tribe? Is there anything like that you could tell me, please?
Yeah, there is a word. Those people think we are harsh.
Which people? Or like the different tribes think
tribes think we And I don't see it. We're just, I see it as we are friendly. When you treat someone in a good way, when you treat someone in the best way, there's nowhere a person will be harsh at you. That is what I think. So everywhere I go around this place, they'll be like, these people they're cold-blooded. They are harsh. You shouldn't go near them. They are harsh.
What do you know? What would make them think in such a way? Like
Because-
what they think you people are harsh, rude, tough.
Because of the way we handle our anger. When someone wrongs you, you feel you want to
do something. You want to
very
give
bad,
back.
and maybe
fire
save
for fire.
blood. If blood is not out, I will not leave this person.
You like fighting a lot. You like fighting back.
Fighting back. So that is
Why people think you people
why
are harsh.
people think we are harsh. But generally we're not harsh. It's just the anger that
Yeah,
we are
that's
good
true.
people.
Because I've been with you for some time and I haven't seen any differences with other ethnic groups here. So I think we are basically the same.
We are
I
the
think this thing of race is more with the people who are not from this country,
different countries.
which is not so common in Uganda. I don't see it so much. It's just in areas of money, financial statuses, but normal living.
Normal
I've not
living,
seen it.
it's fine, but the major problem is racism. That is the problem.
money.
That it's money. Money is evil. It's money. So
Mhm.
those people think when a person comes, those people have money from different countries. You know,
So they want to cheat
they
them.
want to cheat them,
Oh.
which is not true.
That's
Because
not
those
true.
people come and they don't know about money. So for them, they just give. But when a person knows that this money is more, why would you do that?
It reminds me of a Bible scripture from Ephesians chapter 5 verse 22 about equal treatment. Like we are all supposed to treat ourselves equal, no matter where you come from, no matter the perspective of life you have. So we are all supposed to be one.
Yeah.
So if we should all lean on that scripture perspective, then we are good to go. But anyways, thank you so much for your time. I'm glad you gave me time so that I can share this with you, because we normally don't talk about such stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I got to ask you this so that I can learn and get what you think from your ethnic group. And I'm glad I got something from
Thank
it.
you too.
Bye bye and stay blessed.